This episode is sponsored by Boksu. Introduce your friends to premium and authentic Japanese snacks that will be sure to stand out amongst the candy canes and chocolate boxes this holiday season. Check the link in the description.
If you want this, then come and get it.
He ate it! How could he just eat the Dragon Ball? He's gonna eat them all!
Welcome back to another episode of Anime with Alvin. This time we're going to be making Dragon Balls from Dragon Ball GT. Now in the episode, Dragon Balls are clearly consumed, so I'm going to use that as an excuse to make Dragon Balls, because honestly that sounds pretty fun. Because of the mystical and powerful nature of the Dragon Balls, I'm assuming that if it were to be edible, it would have to be made from pretty amazing things. So in this little vial here, I have procured the sap of the Dracana cinnabari, or the Dragon Blood tree. It is a dragon tree native to Socotra Archipelago, part of Yemen, located in the Arabian Sea. It's used in dyes, medicine, and also used to be used for ritual magic and alchemy. We made sure to confirm that this was the edible version, which came in a very blank labeled package. So we're just gonna go ahead and use it. Now the question is, how do you make edible Dragon Balls? So over here I'm grinding down 100 grams of mastic, a resin obtained from the mastic tree, also known as the tears of Chios. After grinding it down into a powder, we're gonna add in 50 grams of just straight up unflavored gelatin and make sure that's all in there. This is going to go into approximately 700 grams of water until we dissolve this and we get a nice solution that we can set. To be fairly honest, we're really eyeballing this here. There's no real recipe out there, so we try to make sure the ratios were correct with the gelatin and the water. The mastic and gelatin mixture is turning into a weird little foam that's kind of collecting on the surface of this water and not really dissolving into it as I'd hoped. With the help of Rachel, we're gonna go take that aside and try again because this didn't work. Maybe the water was a little bit too hot on that one, so we're gonna go ahead and try this again. Grinding down 100 grams of mastic, but this time adding in 80 grams of orange flavored jello to give that nice flavor and color to these Dragon Balls. This time, instead of dumping it into boiling hot water, we're gonna heat up the water first and then dump this into a slightly smaller bowl so that the temperature can cool down a little bit. After giving this a nice mix and admiring the hue that our water has turned into, we're gonna strain this through a fine mesh sieve because there's a little bit of chunks of mastics that I didn't grind down perfectly. Pass this once more through a cheesecloth just to get rid of any small remaining particles, because we do want our Dragon Balls to be shiny and perfect. Then we're gonna drop in a couple drops of our Dragon's Blood sap. That's gonna go in. It doesn't really smell like too much, kind of herbal and a little bit sticky, so we're gonna give that a nice whisk and realize that I think we should probably use an immersion blender for this scenario. So after giving that a couple of spins and making sure that the Dragon's Blood is now evenly dispersed among our mixture, we're gonna divide this into 6 evenly spherical shaped molds that we got online. These are going to get filled halfway before we add our stars in, and then we're gonna go let these rest in the fridge until they are nicely set. The Dragon Balls have tiny glowing stars in them from 1 to 7. So I'm gonna take a red bell pepper. We're gonna cut these into thin strips while taking out the flesh of the pepper. We mostly just want that 1 to 2 millimeters from the skin inwards because we want this to stay as solid red as possible, none of that inner fleshy stuff. Probably use the leftovers for fried rice or something. We are missing one of the Dragon Balls, which is quite a shame because if I just had it, I could have wished for anything in the world. 10 minutes have passed and I've only made 2, and judging by the math of this thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a second batch, I'm going to need to make 42 stars. Yeah, this is a lot longer than I thought. We are going to have to reevaluate our strategy for this approach. Okay, so it seems like there is a magic shining upon us because Kendall found a tiny little star cutter for a pastry tool that we're just sitting in the cabinet. So this is the exact thing we're gonna use to save me a lot of time just bending over and cutting these stars. But still, cutting out 42 of these things is a little bit more work than I anticipated. That's okay, we have our stars. Thinking back though, I'm gonna go ahead and make a backup batch because honestly there was a lot of mastic that was sieved out and I'm not sure that's gonna have enough gelatin or setting agent to make this mixture set the way that I want to. So we're gonna do a safety batch with just straight up a whole entire packet of orange jello, just like how you make it on the instructions on the back of the box. And this is also going to get evenly dispersed among 6 spherical molds. I realized off camera that the mixture that we used in that first mastic batch clearly wasn't setting because a lot of the mastic had just not been in the actual mixture. So we're gonna go ahead and proceed with the orange jello and dragon's blood batch. I'm placing the stars down on these little half-formed Dragon Balls 1 through 6, and after that placing the lid on top and filling these up the rest of the way with the remaining mixture that we have. And I did notice that after I poured them through, I looked at them briefly right before they went into the fridge, and it seems like the stars floated to the surface of the mold, which would not make them look very pretty. I definitely made a mistake by not pushing the stars into the actual gelatin mixture itself, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and, well, decant all of these liquid halves back into the container and rearrange these stars back into their proper form. After some pushing, some shimmying, and a lot of maneuvering back and forth, we now have our Dragon Balls completely set with our stars placed right in the middle, pushed very deep, and the liquid halves filled to the top. These are gonna go chill in the fridge overnight. It is now day 2. Let's bring out these and see how they look. Oh, it seems like as I was pouring for one of these, there was a little air bubble that prevented the liquid from going down, and it made it seem like the mold was filled, when in fact, the mold was not filled. So there is now half of a Dragon Ball missing. Oh, here's number 2. Both halves of the Dragon Balls are still not with each other. They seem to have been clinging to their respective halves. That's okay. We're gonna go ahead and shimmy these out with a rubber spatula. Try to play some Tetris here. We now repeat the remaining process with the other 4 Dragon Balls. Yep, seems like the Dragon Balls don't like to be one whole entire shiny thing as I'd anticipated. But that tracks, because usually the Dragon Balls are spread and split for a reason, or else they're too powerful. After unearthing all the Dragon Balls as best as we can, here are the Dragon Balls presented in a little container as I think they should be, as Dragon Balls are quite mystical objects, and no ordinary plate will do them justice. So here's a little bamboo steamer basket because it looks cooler. Not as full as I would hope they'd be, and the stars, well, they're a little bit off because I forgot to push them down in the correct form, but I'm still pretty happy with the way they look. So this is our version of the Dragon Balls from Dragon Ball GT. An edible version that you don't actually have to swallow completely in order to get powers. Let's go ahead and take one of the fuller ones and give it a big bite. That tastes like orange jello with a hint of herbalness, probably from the dragon's blood, but the orange jello actually goes surprisingly well with the red pepper. There's something about that that's just really surprisingly nice. I can feel the effects taking effect. I'm now powering up. It's getting close. Yep, it is now over 9,000. I'm ready to fight Shenron himself. Goodbye, everybody. Instant transmission out. Thanks again to our friends over at Boxu for sponsoring this episode. Boxu is a premium Japanese snack box that works with family businesses all over Japan to deliver a new theme of treats every month. Holiday gift giving is hard enough, so when I find a surefire crowd pleaser that is backed by an ethical mission like Boxu, it's a no-brainer for me. You'll get to experience flavors you probably never even heard of before, such as sudachi and these little tempura chips. It's also very fun to watch people try Boxu's white chocolate strawberry for the first time because the texture is so unique. I gifted a box to my mom because she loves sweet and salty snacks from all over the world, and I can't wait to see her reaction. So if you want to give the gift of authentic Japanese snacks and support our channel, click the link in the description and use my code ALVIN to get $15 off your first Boxu order.